Okay, here we go. And action, and welcome everybody. This is PnP Weekly episode 251. It is 27th of May. Spring, summer is coming. Well, it's incredibly hot in Helsinki right now, but which is always cool. We had 4 weeks ago, we had snow. Now we're hitting 30 degrees, which is mind-boggling, but it is what it is. Now, in PnP Weekly, let's talk about the latest
hot, which is cool. Like, sorry, I don't.
That's a good point. In the PnP Weekly, let's talk about the latest weather. No, we talk about the PnP. We talk about 365 and related technologies. My name is Vesa Juvonen. I'm a principal product manager in Microsoft 365 platform areas, and with me as a co-host.
Hey everybody, my name is Waldek, and I am developer advocate for Microsoft 365 and Microsoft.
Excellent. So we were planning to have an interview this week, so let's build the beans immediately. Unfortunately, there was an unfortunate last-minute change on the plans, but we'll get more people interviewed next week. Now, we haven't, though, gone through a lot of articles recently in the show, and we had this big event happening actually last week.
Yeah, there was this event. Was it like construct? No, what was its name? Build.
Yes. Construction.
No, it was build. Build is our flagship event that we do every year, where we announce the latest and greatest for devs. And I think like I've seen a few interesting things, but I want what is top of mind? Like, what is one thing top of mind for you? And I have an idea because I think you might be biased, but I wonder if my idea matches what you think.
No, I think that I'm a bit biased on the biggest news because for me, absolutely the biggest thing is simplifying the Copilot creation, Copilot targeting. So one of the problems what I keep on having within the Copilot is that it's basically you have this massive bundle of information, and then you're trying to find the relevant topics for you, or you're trying to find target your queries to a specific set of documents. So having finally rolling out the feature which we've been building in ODSP around the Copilot, personal Copilots, and the way you can spin in as many Copilots as you want without any code, without Copilot Studio, is really, really, really cool. So you can select a set of docs and say, I want to have a Copilot on this, and voila. And the fact that you'll get a Copilot for every single SharePoint site, and you can have a discussion with the sites automatically within Teams, for example. I think it's really, really cool. So you can imagine that you put your HR docs or product specifications, you're storing them in SharePoint because that's where you store the files. So therefore, now you can say basically that in my specifications or in my specific site where we store specific content, would you give me any insights on blah, 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 and you have that Copilot experience with the documents. And I think that makes the Copilots even more mainstream, and because now you don't have to write code, or you don't have to use even Copilot Studio to create custom Copilots.
That was not what I thought you would say, but it's interesting nonetheless. there was this one more announcement.
Yeah, there's a video we're gonna have a look on potentially that one as well, but that's more on SPFX side of the house, but for that, which is huge potential. But let's one step at a time, because I know that the targeted Copilot creation for sites and documents is basically, well, we've been testing that internally for a long time. So. What about you? What was the most interesting one?
So there were kind of like two things. One was the kind of the entertaining / things that where I learned a few things myself, and there were two talks. There was the highly technical talk with Scott Hanselman and Stephen Taub, where they went about like, okay, how can you improve performance of your C#.NET code with benchmarks, profiling, and all that. So I found that interesting. And then another one was Scott and Mark Learn AI, where they used AI to clean Scott's desktop. Yeah. Like he had like gajillion files in there. So how, like first of all, like the whole end-to-end thing. But it was really interesting use case. It was live, and what I really liked about it the most is like 0 slides, like going directly to demo, spending the whole hour in a code. That was like that made it really, really fun.
Yep.
So that's kind of the one side, and another one was, and that is me being partial to my own work being showed. There was this really interesting demo that Mark Weitzel showed in his talk. He had a talk about platform engineering, and he had this really cool demo that integrates GitHub Copilot extensions with Azure API Center, Dev Proxy, Playwright, GitHub Actions to detect shadow APIs in apps. Like this whole end-to-end workflow where, as a platform engineer, you use GitHub Copilot to find out about the workflows or the actions you've got available. Then you run it and you get end-to-end report based on something that you've got in place. So that was really cool. The demo, that was really impressive.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool. What's your feeling about the build announcements? So for me, I saw a lot of things which are more real, and of course there's the future announcements as well and future things like more future tuning. But there's a lot of things which we can actually do. So and it's more on, okay, so this is really cool. This is something what I can do pretty soon or today from a demo perspective.
I think that changes over the years, right? Like because like in a past the cadence was different, and I guess then it was very much like almost like you would get CD or DVD when you were at event with the bits to try. Now things are available online, but that also means that sometimes things aren't in a shape that want them to be, and we kind of like it might come across as an announcement of an announcement. And it might be just a matter of days, right? So it's not always that we mention something and it's immediately available. Many things are, but there are some things that are days, maybe weeks out, and they will be available very much very soon, right? So I think like we see announcements across of both types of features.
True. Now, as said, we do not have an interview today. Should we jump on articles and then come back on the chatting?
Let's do that.
Cool. So let me share my screen and we'll get moving on there. So let's quickly recap. We've been now kind of dividing this on builds and then other announcements and then community news and then videos. It's basically the sequence and things. Now on the build, this was basically the primary build announcements on what's next. Microsoft Build continuous evolution, expansion of AI tools for developers. It wasn't just about the developers. It wasn't just about, it was all about AI tools for sure. So because that was definitely the theme.
Well, I mean, there were a few things. Like, no, there were also a few things like what's new in .NET 9, C# 13, .NET Fire. So there are non-AI things included too, but majority of it definitely agreed AI.
Yep, absolutely agree on that. And that's always we want to be on the the most high technical stuff in build. Some of that might be forward-leaning, some of them might be reality, but there's a lot of things which are great to see. So GPT 4.0 is already included. 4.0, how do we say that? 4.0, right?
4.0, yeah.
It's already available in Azure, which is really cool. And that, of course, means that there is such a close partnership between OpenAI and Microsoft. So it's not like we needed to wait until they announced it to start working on it. No. We're working on the integration with Azure already before it's getting announced. And then they got it announced, what was it, week before? And then it was built to announce that it's now available for developers as well. So
did you, by the way, have a chance already to try 5.3?
No.
Okay. No. It's really cool. So I had a look. So 5.3 is a small language model, right? It's 2.5 gig, and it's something you can run on your own box, right? So I tried to use it on my MacBook Air M2. It's surprisingly fast comparing to other things like Llama 2. But it was, so I tried to use it in the context of, can I improve generating OpenAI specs in proxy with that? Because like we have a few things like, okay, when we create a spec, we intercept the request, and off of that we create spec. But a part of the spec are things like the ID and the description of the endpoint. If all I've got is a request, how can I generate description of it?
The actual content.
With SLM, right? Like with a model. And that was surprising, like how cool it actually is. So I'm thinking about the ability of including that, like the ability, like if you are willing to run it on your box, you provide a URL and you will get richer outcomes.
Descriptions and
exactly right. So I think we're going to offer this opt-in option of you, like, and you can run, Llama 2. You can choose basically the model you want to run. But it's really so cool to see the advancements in this space and how approachable it becomes. Like no longer you need to have this. Now I need to have a model and I'm going to pay per token and all that. Like you can run it on your own box.
But while they're coming back on the complete basics of AI taking over our job, that would mean that me as a developer, I'm no longer needed for descriptions and documentation.
Oh, we all know that developers hate running descriptions, so
exactly.
I'd rather have you spend time on writing code than prose, if anything. And I mean, if anything else, there's still room for you to, to go over it. Like, does this make sense?
Yes, true.
Right, because like just because there is a model and it's thinks that it's got the right thing, it doesn't need to be the case. So there is still a human part in it, which is really key to everything that we do.
100%. So no,
I know.
Before we started recording and everything, I was just watching it. There was a reference point to a 90s music video, and I don't know where this is coming from, but there was a moment in that video where somebody came to the railway station and came to the ticket counter and bought a ticket from a person. Really good example of jobs which we don't anymore have because we're buying the tickets using the phone, right? So, but that doesn't mean that
yes and no. Like if you go to cinema, there is still a person because like they have a counter in there where you can buy, popcorn and chips and drinks, and also a ticket. So you can buy
nowadays
it online.
Combined. Yes, absolutely. But again, so my mother-in-law is traveling to northern Finland to our cottage, which is in the Arctic Circle. That's her the birth village from the really northern Finland, and she travels there on day after yesterday. And there was a challenge because now all of the small kiosks and everything else has been closed in the village and in the city close by. So how to get the ticket back to Helsinki? And the only way you can actually do that is with the phone. So, and of course,
for somebody who is older, that
80 years,
that's hard.
There is a boundary of things, but again, and of course, there's a way of getting help, but still. So
we had a while ago the same thing with banks, right? So banks here in the Netherlands went to online banking already like years back. Like almost all offices, all local bank offices are gone here in the Netherlands. Like in the town where I live, which is 70,000 inhabitants, I think we used to have like for every major brand we had one at least, for some even two. Now all of that is gone. So like you cannot. There is nowhere for you to go, and at some point they went to the point where they would be like a couch, like basically like that. Like if you are elderly and you need assistance and you cannot get it anywhere else, you go there and you would get assistance like with online banking. But there would no longer be like a clerk to help, like to get the money from like not doing anything in cash anymore. No. So it's a huge change that is on one hand for the better, but it's also hard for folks who have been around for a longer time. So it's just kind of this two edge of change, right?
Why are we talking about this one? It's the impact of AI for jobs and everything else. And of course, those people who used to do this stuff might be doing something completely more efficient and useful. So it's natural evolution of things. So Sorry, detour.
Important stuff.
Exactly. Cool. Anyway, a lot of interesting announcements in this blog post, and a lot of focus obviously on the Copilot and Copilot extensibility and options on that one in build. Now, the full list of build announcements is always available in the Book of News, and that's an incredibly useful set of documents. And then there's also really long list of things which you can then you can easily use search for targeted queries on what has happened. Now, this time, by far, the majority of things were on the Azure side of the things, and we didn't see that many announcements on the Microsoft 365 side. It was quite limited, unfortunately, on the developer side of the house. Maybe that's part of the transition on the Copilot Studio and Copilot and extensibility, or focus on that one. That doesn't mean that the platform for Microsoft 365 would be going away. Definitely not. And build is Azure executed conference, so they're a bit biased on their side of the house. So you are from Azure side of the house, so you're biased. No,
yes, so biased.
Yes.
I have no idea.
For those who do not know, yeah.
No, I don't know what we do in E&D. Yes, I don't know what we do on the Microsoft 365. SharePoint. What is that? No
Yes,
idea.
exactly.
Microsoft Graph. Teams.
Now,
only chat, right?
Yes, it's only chat and files and emails. So
yes, there you go. What else do you need?
So on the intro, we're talking about the most impactful and coolest thing on the build, and I would say that, at least for me, this is by far the coolest thing. So Jeff was talking about this one in his part of the keynote with Satya, which is basically you're able to create super easily copilots directly from SharePoint document libraries. Every single SharePoint site is actually a copilot by default. And then you can select which other files, and you can just click hey, I want to have these files, and create a copilot, name it, define it, adjust that. You can also share your copilot, which is incredibly cool. So now you can invite the copilot to have a discussion directly in Teams with other people. So now you have multiple people engaging with the copilot, which is targeted to a specific set of information, which is really cool. So I think mainstreaming or making the copilot super easy to have is really cool. And well, behind the scenes also the SPFX platform team was involved on creating all of this stuff, and that's why this is super close to my personal heart.
Yeah, I mean, and I think like what's really cool about this, right, is that we make things that are meant to be easy, and there is still enough room for you to do the hard things, which require some more work, right?
Yep,
so the easy things, like I want to be able to have a chat scope to a site library set of docs. That's easy. That's not like you don't need to train new model. You just want to scope it, and that's easy. And now we make it really easy, right? Where if you want to have your own specialized chat based, or even your own LLM with more advanced things, there is a room for that too. It requires more work, but that option is there too. So it's really cool to see the advancements across the board, across the spectrum, and that we kind of facilitate both ends.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. Now the other session which you mentioned also was this one, right? Scott and Mark, Scott Hanselman and Mark Rushinov, building stuff live. That is a pretty messy desktop, for sure. So
and the best part is it's not even all of it, like, because like there is more. So they have 2 or 3 screens, and these icons overflow to other screens. So there is even more. So it's like in total there's like 800 icons on there.
Yeah.
And they use AI to clean it up. So that is kind of the case. But it's really cool to see the different aspects of, like, they explain the mechanics behind AI based on this example, and it's really cool. Like, I think they used the recipe last year already, and I don't know if they did it year before that, but it just works. It's funny, entertaining, it's nicely paced. There's like 0 seconds to code. So it's like they spend like basically the whole thing in code, in editor, on a screen, no slides. It's really fun.
Yeah. That's really cool, and they're definitely specialists on doing that. So which is awesome to see. So and you really want to see those presenters who can just I can adjust, I can jump on things, I can react on whatever the computer is throwing to me because I know the stuff. It's okay.
Yeah, and there are things that are kind of, I don't know if it's meant to go off rails or it just goes off rails, and they're like why is that? Like, and you see how they react to it, and it doesn't take away from the overall experience. What's more, it's authentic. It only adds to it. So for me, this is like a really awesome talk.
Yep. That's it. Whenever you're doing this kind of stuff, by the way, live, you are taking a risk, but then if it's successful, that's really good.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. And I guess
I prefer live demos 100% always.
Yeah, but there is room for the highly polished and the kind of the academic explaining concept things, and there's also room for wanting to learn and for things to stick. And this is authentic. This is how things are in real. They're messy, we look for things, we kind of do things, and we get the unexpected side. We need to deal with that. But it also takes skill, because you can be really, thrown off the script, and then you're paralyzed. So if you cannot deal with that, you gotta train, because it's a skill you can learn, but you also need to learn.
Practice.
Yeah.
And then, dealing with surprises in a way that, whoa, okay, that's cool.
Well, if anything else, LLMs are perfect for that, because they give you like every time you ask something another outcome. So you cannot practice like I'm going to type 2 and I will get back 4. Right? No, it doesn't work that way.
That's true. That is true. Now, and then the last thing which I wanted to call out here was the session. This is actually kind of interesting. The session. There's quite a few speakers in here. It's not just Luca and Chris, but it's anyway. That's separate. But this one is actually really, really cool. This is the one which you try to guess my favorite thing, which is actually super cool. Let's see if I can actually do this.
Yeah, you need live. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So can I take days off to due to burnout? So having a discussion with Copilot, and it actually provides you back live SPFX cards, which are the same cards as what we have in the Viva connection. And the difference here is that it's an SPFX card, not just adaptive card. So now you can start making actions and performs or combine multiple API calls, because it's SPFX. It is not just static adaptive card. And that's, for me, this is like the holy grail of Copilot extensibility. So wait, we are combining the chat and also the UX directly within a chat in the right way. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah.
But it's and this is still early, but this is live demo. This is live demo. Luca Bandinelli from our SPFX team is doing this live, and I know that they're working close. There's other cool stuff within this specific session related on Copilot Studio integration, so Microsoft 365 and with low-code, no-code cards. But this one, for me, is by far the most interesting one, because there's so much power on doing that stuff. So
yeah, and I think it proves the point. It proves the points where we want to be, and it only shows like for all this time, and even now we are early on.
Yes.
Yes. For up until now, actually, and I think even still, majority of interaction is over text.
Yep.
You need to express your intent in writing, and then you will get back a paragraph of text where. Yep. Some things are just so much easier to express with a click, because we have this rich UIs into which we invested for years. And I think that this is a step towards showing that, like bringing the richness of the UIs that we've built and evolved over the years to the chat pane, so that we can interact more easily through clicks and visual means as opposed to only text. So I think that is one of the things that I'm really excited about, like to see more rich interactions coming to AI as opposed to only text.
Yep, 100% agree on that. And there's a lot of incredible amount of potential on this one. So I basically, as said, for me, this is like the holy grail of Copilot chat extensibility. So easily do more user-friendly operations, and also with SPFX because it's automatically hosted again in Microsoft 365. So now you can easily build then cards which are operating against the Microsoft Graph without or other API surfaces which have been enabled within your tenant, and that's like mind-bogglingly powerful for pro developer side of the house as well. So not just Copilot Studio. So
and I guess then the next step will be if those cards can be dynamic and respond to the prompt.
Yes, absolutely.
So I type something and that's being passed to the card. The card can then do something.
Yes, by default, already not just showing based on an intent, but also having the default settings and all of that based on a card and present to that. 100% agree on that. So really cool. Cool. Now we also had then a lot of blog posts related on other announcements on builds. So, for example, summary from Microsoft Teams with all of the announcements. I think the Teams announcements for builds were more about the developer integrations. For example, having a nice inline code editing experience in Loop. So writing can write code together directly within the Teams. Well, which you write code together, but you can edit notes and code suggestions and having a more efficient developer developer methods and processes to building stuff. So a lot of other announcements here as well, directly coming from the build timeline. So not just only for developers, definitely. A lot of announcements. Jeez. Wow.
It's a long article.
Keep on going and going and going.
And devices, new devices,
and devices. Yeah, it is a real massive ecosystem based on the Microsoft Teams for sure. Build recaps from Jeff. So this is basically recapping on the click to GPT or click to create a Copilot. Click to GPT was the internal code name for it. So let's beep. That was never said in here. I'm just kidding. But it's click to Copilot. So making it super easy that you're able to do that. So this is really a summary on that feature and showcasing how it's working. And I've tested this. We've done internal testing. This is 100% real. And it's coming pretty soon. So pretty soon we'll see what the pretty soon is always so relative, right?
Well, it depends when you watch the recording of this.
That is true.
That will be sooner than later.
It will come out on Wednesday. We also announced the general availability on SharePoint Embedded from Zach Rosenfield. Zach is the GPM, I think, on this feature, and SharePoint Embedded is now generally available. To be with all due honesty, because I work with the SharePoint Embedded people, but I thought that it's already GA'd. But it's good that it's now GA'd. So a lot of great opportunities. And also you can have custom copilots directly in SharePoint Embedded, which makes actually sense given the SharePoint experience and SharePoint feature, which we just showed as well. Because SharePoint Embedded, they're technically containers, which are libraries. So why wouldn't be able to use the same feature?
Think about that, right? Like you are a vendor. You build an app. That app stores docs, files, or whatever.
Yep.
With this, what you get is one, you get the hosting for free with all the compliance, DLP, permission management, all of that already for free, kind of as a part of your app. Then on top, you also get LLM.
True.
You don't need to build a vector DB with permission management because all of that, like cool. If you build a vector DB, how do you secure access to that? It's either all or nothing. Like there is no additional steps in there. Whereas here, you get all of this for free. As an ISV, you don't need to build this. You can focus on building your app.
You need to pay for it because it's not free capability, but still.
As an ISV, you don't need to pay for additional resources on that. It's a part of the licensing for the user.
Correct.
But as an ISV, you don't need to spend additional time on it. Like these things are because they are foundational for the things on top of which you build.
Yep.
You benefit from that.
Yep. Absolutely. 100%. So
that is really cool.
Really cool. And a lot of opportunities in here. But that's a really good call out because you actually get your custom copilots without the fundamental work what you need to do behind the scenes with this stuff. And by the way, if you're watching this on Tuesday morning when this comes live, depending on morning in the time zone, but On 28th of May, Mark Windel will be showcasing the Copilot extensibility in SharePoint embedded in our community call. So,
Cool.
which is really, really cool. Now, preparing organization for AI insights for Microsoft, rolling out Copilot in Viva Clint. Of course, Copilots are coming in every single product, every single feature. AI will be fundamentally integrated directly within the features. And again, as we saw on the previous tabs, it's not just the chat. So we will have the AI behind the buttons and UX and actions and all of that. So, which is where we're heading, which is as expected. A few other updates which we haven't covered. Viva Connection first-party dashboard cards from Catherine Shoka, just listing on all of the cards and capabilities which we have available in Viva Connection. And again, these cards could be, these are the first-party cards, but these cards could be actually exposed also in a Copilot. Using the same SPFX mechanism, because again, all of these cards have an intent and capability what they're providing, and therefore, if you're asking the right question, you will actually get the right card in the chat as well. It's pretty cool. Building your own Copilot with Copilot Studio. This is actually a really old one. Ew, go on. Never existed. Copilot Studio, building Copilots with agent capabilities. So this is an update from Build from Omar Aftab, who's Vice President of Conversational AI. So on the Copilot Studio, a lot of investments, and then support for agents. So what is the difference between agents and Copilot extensibility?
Copilot, I think you can see in a way where Copilot is just like single task. Like you have a prompt, you ask it something, it might bring in additional tool. Yep. It comes back with an answer. So it's always single thing. Where agents are, you can chain, like you can build a workflow.
Yep.
In a sense, so it can be multiple tasks.
And long-running operations behind of the scenes and all of that stuff. So the whole system, everything is getting more advanced and on these things as well. So it's really cool to see support for that in Copilot Studio. Now, on the developer side of the house, enhancing the access teams to support developer productivity and collaboration, a build announcement as well. So working through and explaining all of the different teams improvements for developers, really focused on the developers and also extensibility side of the house. Not really a build summary, but also just bundled on the build timeframe. A lot of new features there. We also had an update on what's new for Office add-ins in Build 2024. So what's announced there, Word API 1.7, 1.8 is coming, Outlook updates, Smart Alerts add-ins, a lot of investments on this area as well. So it's not just about the Copilot, but still there is Copilot dimension in all of the stuff in this extensibility as well. And then Microsoft Graph Town Hall API is now available in the Graph side. So Town Hall is a Microsoft Teams feature, and then there's now APIs to do control and function and access this information. Cool to see. And I think these are, just thinking, is there a cost factor on using this? I can't remember. So anyway, new APIs always available. That's really cool from an investment perspective. Now, Niran Shah for CVP and Dataverse has a update on the unlocking new levels of productivity with Microsoft Dataverse and Microsoft Copilot Studio. A lot of investments in here. You can do more efficient integrations, for example, with Dataverse and other data sources. And now with Copilot Studio, you can easily link into the Dataverse for advanced operations. So a lot of investments on the Power Platform side across the stack. Power Apps is making easier for developers to build Microsoft Copilot and each other. So Brian Cunningham, who's a VP in Power Apps, is an update again on the build announcements. A lot of build announcements across the board and features where we are investing. So a lot of stuff. It's interesting to see 1 week we don't have any news, and then 1 week, the next week we're having a massive amount of news. So, but That's as expected.
Well, I mean, in this case, I think that was kind of expected because it's build.
Yes, it's
build. So we very much know many teams want to use this as the momentum to like, hey, we have big flagship events where everybody's attention is tuned to us. So we want to benefit from the attention that we get and align announcements there.
As long as we don't then go silent until the next 12 months. So,
I mean, it takes time to build things. So, but there's kind of this thing where it takes time to build things, and that also we shouldn't assume that everybody caught the initial announcement. So one and two, that everybody understands it, right? So there is also we can use the time when we build things to communicate about the things that we've built.
And repeating things, yes, absolutely, yeah. There's so many announcements coming from last week. It's like, okay, I'm overwhelmed. So most likely, maybe a tip for anybody in Microsoft internally, if you're looking into announcements, wait 2 weeks after build, you will get more visibility on your new feature, because there's no other announcements. So it's kind of an interesting balance.
Yes and no. I am on the fence about it. Like, yes, you will be the only one talking about it, but you also want to be a part of. There is the big something to say for being a part of the 100%. Big announcement. So do both.
Yeah. Yes. Reinforce the message. Now, turn on the AI prompts to automate content processing on the AI builder and Power Automate. So new capabilities and investments on that side as well from May 24th. I don't place blog post on Friday. That's not a smart thing to do, because then you lose half of the audience. And then revolutionize the way of work with Automate and AI. This is the build announcement updates from Shanghai Xing on Power Platform Automation. So what's actually being announced there related on Copilot integration, insights, and all of that stuff, which is really, really cool. A lot of investments again on Power Automate side. On the platform community blog, we had an update from Adam Wojcik related on SPFX Toolkit. He's doing an incredible job on evolving that with the community members, but there's now a Copilot chat integrated there as well, so helping people to be more efficient with
this. This is really, really cool. And like one thing that I really like is the ability that GitHub Copilot allows you to tap, like if you build an extension, you can tap into their LLM. So you don't need to bring your own LLM. You don't need to stand it up, operate it, host it, secure it, and all of that. Your extension can use the GitHub Copilot's LLM without additional cost. To build things, and this is so really, really cool. So I tried a few things. What you can do about it, that is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's a good example on write me an SPFX React component that has a web part context taken from props, and voila, it basically is giving you the starting point for the code. Now, is that 100% functioning and the best possible piece of code? Not necessarily, but it's a starting point, and then you can adjust that, and it will get smarter and smarter and smarter all the time. This is really, really, really cool to say. Thank you, Adam, for pushing again the boundaries on that extension. It's just incredibly good. So it's triple beta. Anyway, cool. On other updates on the community blog, so AC had an update or a blog post related to Microsoft Graph webhooks, what, why, how, when, best practice. So the Microsoft Graph webhooks is a way of reacting on events which are happening within you subscribe to events which are happening in Microsoft 365, and you will get notified when the event is happening. And this is originally from his Andrew Connell site, but we can go through him here as well. But basic idea here is just walking through how it actually works, how do you tap into that, what is the power, what is the business value, and how do you delete, subscribe, update, renew, because that's something what you need to do as well. So a lot of cool capabilities what you can do with this.
And I think the most important part is that especially as we build cloud apps, polling is not the way to go. You don't want to poll. 100%. Yes. Whenever you want to do, you want to be able to respond to events when they occur. If they don't, you have nothing to do. When they do, you get a ping, and then you can do your work. And you have all the things like, Delta queries to check only for what has changed since the last time. But the most important part is don't poll. Don't eat up unnecessary resources on your end, but also our end and Microsoft, right? Because like if everybody polls like, hey, do you have something new? Do you have new? Do you have new? Do you have new? Like,
Yep.
no, I don't. Just stop asking me. I will tell you when I have
Well,
something new.
that's in a nutshell, that's what throttling is. So stop
Yes.
asking.
Stop bothering
You're
me.
asking.
Yes.
Exactly.
Don't.
So
Yeah. But then it'll be
you're
like,
bothering me too much. I
so
need to be able to
how
do
about
my
now?
work.
Like, no, leave me
Yes. How about
alone.
now?
And so
How
yeah,
about
so
now? How
exactly
about
that.
now?
Like whenever you can, you want to be using webhooks because you will know instantly when things change.
Yes.
And when they don't, no, you will not get anything. Hence, you will be more cost efficient about your own app.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Now, Laura Kokarinen had a new blog post on will cancel Azure Logic apps runs with PowerShell. So a summary on how to do this with PowerShell and automating things. So basically, there's a lot of runs things. Can I automate those operations? And using the Azure PowerShell, you absolutely can. So really good reference point again on something what she run or did in the day-to-day work, and then sharing that with the other people in the community. Thank you for that. So super useful. And then we had a Marcus Muller's blog post related on action-based Teams messaging extension with Teams Toolkit for VS Code. If I remember correctly, he actually demoed this recently in a community call and sharing and walking through the structures and how things are. Yes, this is exactly the same, which he showed in the community call. Was it last week? So really, really cool explanation again on how the Teams messaging extensions are working and how to make things work, which is super important. So understanding again the power of this.
Yep.
Thank you, Marcus, on that one. And then Xiao Mendes has been working on, well, I know that he's working, this is a great example. He's working for his company where he is employed on their UX elements, and they needed to have a new control for their business operations. So he's, rather than implementing that as an isolated thing within their company, he's actually contributing that back on the community using the PnP React controls, and therefore anybody can benefit out of it. It's not their PII because the company is building something else focused thing, not controls. So therefore, it's completely fine for the leadership to give him the option of contributing back on the controls. Well, his leadership is also MVPs who are actively involved in community, but that's a separate discussion. So let's not go there. But this is actually really, really cool. So it's basically if you're an SPFX developer for Teams or SharePoint or Viva, and this provides you capability of, I cannot actually zoom in, but they have a better image picker with different options, and from SharePoint, from OneDrive, from stock images or uploading. So really, really cool optimized experience, because unfortunately the out of the box image picker is not exposed as a reusable control. So, you Microsoft, I'm pointing myself. So,
you Microsoft.
Cool. Some other news. Pretty recently, we renamed our YouTube channel, which was the Microsoft 365 Power Platform community, to be a bit more inclusive. So we can actually start publishing, for example, Dynamics videos and all of that videos here as well. Really focused on as the one centralized location for community news. And last week, we also published initial set of videos from the Microsoft 365 conference in Orlando, which was 3 weeks ago. Well, depending on how you count. Do you start counting from 0 or 1? Now, stupid joke. But I'll be here the whole week. But yeah, so really cool set of videos and focused on the announcements and new features across the board. And a lot of different videos, not only for developers and extensibility, but also for communications and how the Copilot is changing that, or the greatest features in Microsoft Teams and how they're evolving as well. So a lot of great content in these videos, which you don't want to miss for sure. Now, there was also a latest episode from the Copilot Connection, which is episode 16. And this is where Gary Trinder is actually joining Kevin. And they're walking through and having a discussion on the great news and updates from the Microsoft build. Copilot Connection is a great way to stay up to date on the Copilot news. I think it's a weekly show, unless I'm completely mistaken. I think it's roughly a weekly, but once a week show as well. So, but they don't have the Copilot Connection weekly stamp, so they can skip a week. We can't. See, they're smart. They're smarter than we are, Waldek.
Well, but we didn't say which calendar we use. So we can use, I don't know, like lunar calendar. I don't know if
No, that's true.
they're
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
weeks
yeah, yeah, kind of.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I bet there are calendars that are off, and we could find a loophole around that. So.
Cool. Also, April had a video related on Microsoft Build 2024 Power Platform news as a recap. So calling out on her favorite announcements. There's a lot of different announcements, which she's calling out like 20 of them in this video, which is really, really cool. Shane had an update also on Power Apps and Power Automate from Microsoft Build. Obviously a theme from last week. So what are the greatest features, what he thought about and liked about from a blog post perspective, like we're doing today as well. Amy Diamond had a new video on how to freeze column in a SharePoint list. So a lot of announcements or new features and capabilities across to other areas as well. So it's not just about Copilot, even though Microsoft Lists, does it already have a Copilot? Well, if it doesn't, it will. So I think it's integrated to the ODSP Copilot, if I'm not mistaken. And then 2 more videos. So episode 287, hosting a custom Copilot in SharePoint Online with Paolo Pialorsi. So basically, now that you have created your Copilot, how to actually expose that custom, if it's a custom Copilot, how to expose that directly within a SharePoint Online. Now, the announcements what we have in Build are still in preview, and they're not available. If you have an existing Copilot already, you can really easily expose that within the SharePoint portals.
And there might be still, need or room
Absolutely.
for
100%.
both or
Absolutely.
need for both. So
Yep.
just the fact that we will announce or our will become publicly available doesn't mean that now nobody no longer needs to build anything else. Like,
correct.
No, that's not the case.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely agree on that. Absolutely agree on that. So now, and by the way, in this particular video, just to call this out, the integration is based on a hovering button in here, but you could actually make it any way you want because it's a custom pro developer storyline. How do you get the custom Copilot, which is in here, exposed? So.
Yeah, the one thing that would be really cool is to have these reusable chats components, so that there was a time where 10 years back we would all build custom date pickers. Now we're building custom chat UIs. It would be really cool. João, if you listen to us, please build reusable chat control that looks awesome for everybody and we can just use.
Yeah. Good. And then the last video, definitely not the list, from Suparchan on how to use PnP control, React control. So he has a series of videos related on PnP reusable controls for pro development, which are using the PnP SPFX controls, which are the definitely when you're building something using SPFX for Microsoft Teams or SharePoint for Viva, and you want to expose custom controls or configurations, these are great ways to do that. There's quite a lot of them already, and as we saw from Xiao's updates, a lot of new stuff is getting included there all the time as well. And so Tarzan is basically going through how to use them, how to get started, and all of that stuff within your code.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess that's it. We've been now rambling around for too long. It just wasn't supposed to be 45 minutes. Wow.
What can I say? There's one. There is a lot to talk about, and 2, we have opinions.
Yes, I guess we do.
Which is a dangerous combination.
Yes, I guess we do. That's fine. I'm looking forward to go outside to feed some mosquitoes for next 30 minutes, which would be nice.
Nature, take care of the nature, right?
Well, somebody needs to feed them. No, it's just, why am I talking about that one? I just need to go outside with the dogs, but it's interesting to see how the weather is completely crazy, and now the amount of mosquitoes in our forest is like, holy, wow.
Really?
Even in Helsinki.
They didn't like heat.
No, I don't know. The situation is weird. So
they adapt.
They adapt. And to be fair, in the forest, when you go to the forest, it's not as hot. So we don't have mosquitoes running around the houses, but when you go to the mosquitoes, there is. When you go to the forest, there is.
When you go to them, like there is trees.
Yes. Yes,
Not the other
but
way
if the
around. We
tree
don't go
falls
to
in
the
the
trees to.
forest and
Yeah,
nobody is, then is
mosquitoes
mosquitoes.
have trees.
Yes. Anyway, what's happening this week? Quick recap
This
on
week, this
both of
week,
it.
this
Yeah,
week is the
anything
end of the
interesting?
month, so we are preparing for a release of Dev Proxy, CLI Microsoft 365 coming this week. That kind of takes the majority of my attention for this week. And there's also, I think, the Connects week, at least for me, because the deadline. So the Connects are our periodic evals that we do at Microsoft, and in our team we do them twice a year, and end of May is one moment when we have them. So I
Yep.
think I will be talking to my manager somewhere this week.
Yep.
And other than that, just digesting everything, going through some of the things that happened at Build, going through all of that. So I think that will be majority of my week. What about yours?
I think the big thing for me is I'll be traveling to Collab Days Milan. So it's organized
Thursday.
by Paolo Pialorsi. That's happening on Thursday this week. So I'll be flying over there on Wednesday. So Paolo is a really good friend of mine. We've been working together since he was my student in MCM program, which feels so weird to say, but that's how we got connected. So back in 2014 or whatever, and we've been closely working together since on the community open source side. And he has his 25 years in a business celebration on the Thursday. So it's one of these things where I committed on flying over already last September because I'll be there. I'll book the flights. So, but now after traveling Orlando, ECS, doing all of the other work related on the spring season, it's like I don't want to go, but lucky it's only for 2 days. So
and I mean, like, it's only a matter of weeks until you will be gone for a longer period of time. So
yeah, well,
that
that's true as
counting,
well.
and
Yeah,
no
we
who's
haven't
counting the days, but it's
actually
like
talked about
27
that
days.
one. Yes. We haven't talked about it. Let me see. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, exactly 4 weeks. So that's
4 weeks left until you're gone for 6 weeks, I
5
guess.
weeks. 5.
5 weeks. Okay, so there will be a 5
my
weeks
original
of
plan
wait.
was 6, but I couldn't.
Yeah, so maybe there will be. So yeah, we need to see how much pause it's going to be, because I'm going to be away at some point too. But maybe my away weeks we're gonna overlap with yours. So maybe there will be break, maybe not. I mean, we will be gone for a bit at least.
Yes.
But we need to see for exactly how long. So stay tuned for that.
Yep, we'll get that one sorted out. Most likely will be definitely started from July or end of June. We'll be on a break, and then we'll see when we're gonna come back. But should be good. Should be good. It's a typical summer break, right? So I'm actually waiting for the break. I'm so waiting for the break. It's been it's been a pretty busy year. So, but at the same time, it is. And then at the same time, you're like, there's so many cool things which we want to work right now, and it's like,
I don't have time. Make time.
Exactly.
Prioritize.
People need to charge as well, so that you're more energized. So it's just something what we need to remember. If every single one of us have a different way of doing that. Some people do extra Fridays off, Mondays off, all of that off. So in the US, they have Thanksgiving, and then its season goes down and slows down. In Europe, actually, end of November and December typically is the busiest time of the year, because you're still delivering, and then the Christmas panic and all of that is happening. And every single culture have their own schedules. And in Finland, because the sun does not go pretty much down anymore, we have all of our vacations on summertime. So, and that's it. And so looking forward on that one. But I guess that's it for this one. Thank you, Waldek, on joining.
Thank you.
Yes. And we'll be back with PnP Weekly in a week. Cheers, everybody.
See you, folks.